Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with a video on me being a virgin and my walk with Christ. Oh, for anyone who's new to this video, I'm a Christian by the way, so that's why I'm waiting for marriage, and that's where a lot of my experience and that's where a lot of my answers will be based on. It'll be based on my faith. I know I've talked a bit about it before, but I thought I'd answer some questions because I was getting a lot of questions through emails and from people I talked to, from girls I talked to, so I thought I'd just put it all in one video and answer all your questions at the same time. So I did these questions on Snapchat. So the first one is by a girl called G Hannah. Hi girl. Her question is, would you settle for someone who's not a virgin? Yes. If God said he was the will of God for my life, if God said he was the will of God, if God said that he is my future husband, then yeah, I would. And has a past with sex and clubs, etc. Yes. All those who come to Christ are a new creation, for all old things have passed away. Behold, all things have become new. So it's not really about the person's past. As long as they have committed their life to Christ and they're working on their heart, then I don't really have a problem. Yeah, next question by a girl called Way. Hi. Her question is, maybe could we have some key scriptures and how best to explain it to people, especially when we're told that it's against nature? If we go back to Genesis 1, okay, first of all, God created nature, so we can ignore that argument that it's against nature, blah, blah. He's the one who created nature, so that creation is him. Secondly, when she said, we have some key scriptures, I don't want to guess, but I think it's Ephesians 5 that talks about sexual purity. The Bible says flee all sexual immorality. I will put any more scriptures if God brings it back to memory, or if I find out any, and I'll put them here so that you guys can check them out. And how to avoid certain ... situations. Me personally, and I have spoken about this, but I don't think I've spoken about it for a while. The thing about situations is it comes with walking against God's will. So if you're always walking God's will, the Bible says the Lord will guide all your ways. So if you're living righteously, you shouldn't, if you find that you're in certain situations, you should be like, okay, have I gone wrong? Like, have I strayed from God's will? Obviously, there will always be temptations. One, because we're human. And two, you'll even have temptations with the guy that God has actually said, this is the one I want you to marry. But yeah, so situations come hand in hand with walking against God's will, usually. When it comes to a certain guy you like, just pray about it. Just be like, God, I want to seek your face. If God says yes, go ahead, but just be careful and just take each step, just commit it to God. But if God said, if God has no say in the relationship, like you're going to end up in certain situations because Jesus is not at the center. The Bible says I am the true vine, so he has to be the one in the middle of it to hold it all together. But when you are tempted, just pray about it, just commit to God, ask him for grace to help you get through it and just maintain your holiness. Like, there's no way you'll ask God for help to be more Christ-like and he won't grant your desire. So yeah, how did you overcome temptations? This is by a girl called Manna. I did and I didn't. I did have some times where, like, I would, especially the time 2013, where I was just rebelling against God because God had asked me to do a lot of stuff and I wasn't seeing the fruits, and I didn't fully have it. So I was just rebelling and just doing all sorts of stuff. But I thank God I maintained my virginity. But yeah, in terms of overcoming temptations, for me, one thing that really convicted me, that made me stop rebelling in mid 2013, was just to remember the fact that everything you do has a repercussion. There's a bit in the Bible, it's Galatians 4. If it's not correct, I'll put it here. I think it's Galatians 4, and it says the justice of God cannot be mocked. You will reap what you sow. And I remember my dad talking to me about how sin always has a price, sin always has a consequence. So that, for me, stops temptation in its tracks, but also just praying for grace. Karen says, my question is, what are the most important things one should be concentrating on as a young Christian when single? 1, purpose. You must focus on your purpose, as in, why are you here on this earth? Look at your strengths, what are you good at? Look at purpose. Also, by the way, actually stems into different things. So, because a lot of the time God gives us the gifts for our purpose. So say if I was going to be a gospel singer, he would give me the gift of singing. So your gifts for your purpose are already within you, so you need to start getting to know yourself more. And to be fair, I think that goes even if you're not a Christian. While you're single, I'm sure like even relationship gurus know that you should just focus on yourself. What are your strengths? What are you good at? What kind of subjects do you like if you're still in college or secondary school, or what kind of job do you like if you're still unsure? Like, get to know yourself, and then you'll start to understand your purpose, and then you can work on that, because at the end of the day, you want to be somewhere, you want to have your own career, you want to be someone by the time you meet your husband. You don't want to just not knowing who you are, and you wouldn't even be able to be a partnership when you don't know who you are and what you're here for. So yeah, and plus God has really been teaching me that marriage is all about ministry. Yes, it is a lot about love, but it's also about ministry. And ministry doesn't mean like just preaching in church or being in the gospel choir or whatever. It can be anything from caring for disabled people to looking out for the homeless to it can be anything. So you need to be in a place of purpose when you meet your husband, because you guys are going to have a joint purpose and a joint ministry. So yeah.